So about a year ago, John and I both began really doing some internal work and looking at the life that we have created, really getting and doing the deeper work at evaluating the life experience that we were creating, both together and then with our family unit as a whole, with both of our children, the life experience we were creating, with our careers, with our friends and family, and then just with our own relationship with ourselves and with God. And as we began looking at that, John said it the best. He said he was sitting in the living room one day and he just looked around and said, I'm really not attached to anything that I see here. And so what we decided was that we were going to make some really radical decisions and some really radical changes and to create a different life experience. We wanted to live life outside of the four walls that most people live their lives in. And I mean, those four walls are not just four walls of a room or of a house, although they can definitely consist of that. But most people exist within a four-wall type of construct, and that exists of their house and their career or their job, and then maybe some friends and family and other experiences scattered in here or there. But for the most part, their lives are lived out doing the same things, experiencing the same things with little real lasting and major change for different experiences. And as John and I began looking at that, we realized for our family, we wanted to really live life outside that box. Now, so about a year ago, as we were going through this, we, of course, looked at the tiny home movement that's out there. We looked at a lot of different things. We thought for a while about traveling, selling everything that we had and really just going around not only just the United States, but different countries as well. And with our boys, renting, furnished homes and having true experiences where we could immerse in different cultures and different places and get to experience, life from some different perspective of just when you travel somewhere for even a week or two or even a month. We really wanted to immerse ourselves, but as it happened, we made the decision to sell everything that we had, which was met by not a lot of support from our friends and family, definitely some trepidation on their part. And we also decided to restructure, to commit what most people would think of as financial suicide, as we would restructure our business, restructure the clinic, restructure everything, because we realized that the experience that we were wanting did not tie us down to a brick and mortar, did not exchange time for money, but did honor the energetic exchange, of the dollar. So needed to basically come in and create a different type of lifestyle, a different type of earning, a different type of career, a different type of daily setup. And so when we first took that scary step of deciding, hey, we don't have all the answers worked out, we really don't know what the decision is, at its final form, but we do know we want to create some change, because while our life is awesome, if we don't move to change things, we're going to continue to keep getting what we've been getting. And so we decided to sell everything. And so we hired a company to kind of get us kick-started, and they came in and we had tables set up in the basement, and they kind of started listing things on eBay and kind of helping us a little bit, really to kind of get the energy flowing of what to keep, what to trash, what to list. And they listed some things, and then that kind of got it started for John and I, and we wiped the house out. I mean, we were just selling everything and getting rid of everything. And at that point, we still didn't even really know where we were going or what we were going to do. And we just were in faith that we were in alignment to create a life change. And as it so happens, when you really step out and take that first step of faith, even when you don't see the step beyond that, everything in the world, in the universe, conspires to lift you up and to create that next step for you. And so just amazingly, all kind of things just began falling into place for us. And we were very fluid about it as well. So as we decided to create change, we really decided just to kind of honor the path that life set forth. And it was kind of scary because we do have two teenagers. And so you have stability and you have them to definitely, consider how they were feeling. And we, kept them into the loop the whole time and discussed everything freely, with them, and got their feedback on different circumstances and situations and their thoughts. And what ended up happening is we ended up on 4.5 acres in a true log cabin on the top of a mountain in Blue Ridge, Georgia. And we moved from our, middle class suburban 5-bedroom, 3-bath, on a 3-story on a full-size basement on an 1.5 acre lot, to this 2-bedroom log cabin on the top of a mountain. One of our first experiences, I don't even think we were here for 2 weeks, and it had been raining and the roads were really bad. We've since hired companies to come in and kind of work on the roads so we could actually get up the mountain. But our vehicles, we had this big old truck and this big old Sequoia, and our vehicles would not make it up the mountain. We were actually having to park at the bottom of the mountain and hike all the way up to the cabin because the roads, and we didn't have 4-wheel drive vehicles. You don't need those in Canton, Georgia, and Marietta, Georgia. And so we finally, at the age of 40, fell into the stereotype of, where I grew up, or where John and I grew up, in Georgia. 4-wheel drive vehicles and 4-wheeling and mud bogging and all that kind of stuff is typical growing up. I never did have a 4-wheel drive, but I tell you what, it only took one time of me not being able to get up my mountain into my house to get rid of my Sequoia, that my beloved, faithful vehicle that has loved me for so many years, and to go out and buy me a Jeep. And I did not want a pansy Jeep. I wanted a Jeep that would go through any of the mountains here at the mountain ranges. We're at the southern tip, I believe, of the Cohutta National Forest range, and it's literally just right outside our door, and a lot of the roads actually are streams, and so it's so cool and so amazing. And so our whole family, what started with just us wanting to be further in alignment and be authentic in our life, ended up being this huge blessing, because now right outside our door we have access to what feels like the entire world. Definitely a whole different life experience than what most people, get exposed to and have the opportunity to be exposed to really connect with nature, to really connect outside of the 4 walls. We did not want to recreate another house, another place that kind of locked us down and locked us into a certain lifestyle. And so in this cabin, it's a lot smaller than what we did have or what we're used to, but we find that we are all thriving. John, myself, both our boys, even down to the dog, we're all just thriving and blossoming, and definitely feel very, very blessed, and will know now experientially, that when we feel those soul callings or those soul stirrings to create change, to follow that out, even when you don't know the entire outcome, or even when you don't know exactly, what's going to happen. We've had amazing times. We created a new tradition, Christmas this year. Christmas Day we went out, we hiked new waterfalls all the time. That's what we did Christmas Day this year, and we're going to follow that up Christmas Day each year, because just right outside the door here, or within a couple miles drive of the Jeep going up one of the mountains hereby, we could go to any waterfall, hike different springs. When I do commute into the clinic, the mountain ranges that are before me are just amazing and beautiful. We've met some amazing friends, and it's funny because we had this, larger house where we lived, 5 bedrooms, and now we moved to this cabin that's half the size of that, if not a little bit more, 2 bedrooms, and we have more company. The energy is sweeter. The fellowship is warmer. It is so inviting. We have people here at the cabin constantly, and we all love it. The connections are just so much deeper, and we definitely wouldn't trade anything for it. As far as work, we are definitely still, feeling our way with that, but we continue to have faith and continue to look and be very, very fluid with what is unfolding for us, and really trying to be 100% in alignment with the ways that we're interacting with the world around us. So I wanted to share our story with you, and just to say, we have gone through a lot of change. We've definitely been out of pocket, because when we moved up here, there's no phone coverage, no internet, and the only time we had any kind of connection with the outside world was when we came down the mountain for what little time we did. It took us several months to get the cabin ready for us to move in. So for our friends and family that have been trying to get in touch with us, that is why we've not necessarily, been quickly accessible, but that it has been a blessing. And so I do want to encourage you, to really take those hard looks at the life that you're creating, to understand you have the power to create a new life experience. No matter how stuck you feel financially, mentally, emotionally, you cannot blame or even, basically project your life experience on someone else or on a circumstance, because you do have the power to change, and you can set that about, and it doesn't have to be perfect in a day. You can create that change now, and you start now with baby steps, with clarifying intention, with prayer, with really looking at what is your soul in alignment with. Years ago, I never would have thought that I would come back to my roots at being so grounded and so needing to connect with the world around me, the outdoors, nature, and that would be so much of a rejuvenation for my very own spirit that would actually serve as a boon to my life work, as a healer and as a teacher and an educator. So it's been an amazing journey, and definitely, I hope that it inspires you and acts as a catalyst, for you to look at your journey and to see what you're creating, and to create that out of a language of love and not a language of fear or of limiting beliefs or just settling for things as they are because that's how they always have been, or because that's what your parents did, or that's what you were taught, or that's what's been modeled before you. That you can create that change. So see you soon.